But it's the only person below White Holiday in the Comicsgate phone book. It's my favorite failed clone of Peter Sameti. The YouTube WyzGyz. How you doing, Conrad? Welcome to the show.
Hello. Welcome to WyzGyz Entertainment. This is your host, Wyman. We are joined today by our very special guest, Jason Crager. How's it going, man?
Good. How have you been, man? It's been a while.
It has been too long. Yeah. I've been all right. I've been I don't know if you noticed, but I was kind of on a bit of a hiatus, at least for promotion.
Right.
I was spending so much time doing other goofy little videos and streams that were unrelated, but they were fun nonetheless. And I just finally am getting back into the groove of things. There's so many darn projects out there that I'm having trouble keeping track. But
yeah,
want to promote everyone I can.
Yeah, it's become a free-for-all out there, man. Like 20 or 30 like different books have come out in the past year on top of like all the new stuff that's still coming. So
yeah, it's amazing. And people are pushing to release more product.
Right.
More books per year. So, people are ramping up.
Trying to ramp up, It's hard to keep up if you're just one person. And I totally understand that.
And so what have you been up to? What have we missed? It seemed like you were kind of off the radar for a little bit. Were you busy with your other job?
With that a little bit, and I'm developing a couple IPs currently. So I'm kind of doing that, and then I have a regular storyboard job that I just kind of started doing. So that's actually kind of cool and different, and it's kind of the complete different from comics. Like, you usually end up drawing like the best stuff that you can for a minimal fee in comics, and when it comes to storyboards, they like overpay you. So
that's interesting.
They do. It's ridiculous, man. And yeah, you have to be on call. It's like you're being paid to wait. And then when you're told, hey, I want to do this, you talk to the director, you talk to the production team also, and you get as much information as you can, you absorb it, and you make sure that you download all the pictures they sent you and stuff, because they want their backgrounds or locations in the background of said storyboard. So you're absorbing a lot, plus your storytelling and stuff. And then I guess a fast storyboarder is like 20 storyboards in a day, whereas like a really fast one is like 30 or more, 35 storyboards in a day. And that's, for what they really want, if you're not showing it to anybody but a director, like, you could easily do 30 or 40 in a day. But if you're showing it to an advertising agency for like commercials, they have to be a little prettier. So there's a little bit more time that goes into it.
When you say 30 to 40, are you talking about individual panel images representing like key scenes in a commercial?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So
that's
in a sense, it's almost like animation, where 24 to 32 frames a second. It takes 24 separate images to simulate motion.
Right. Unless you're doing like on twos, and then it takes like 12 frames. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So it's it's kind of like that. I'm keyframing is what I'm doing. I'm mostly blocking stuff for the I'm blocking stuff for the production team to go in to set up cameras is what I'm doing. So that's what a storyboard artist does. It lets the production crew know where the camera is supposed to be. And if the like director approves it and has it like in his head and it works, then he approves it. It goes to them. They set it up the next day. He walks onto set. He does the scene with the actors and whatever. And everything's already blocked out and laid out for him. So, and we usually end up talking about it a little bit. You know, I'm obviously a storyteller also, so I can kind of sit down and be like, hey, this is what I think about this. You know, and sometimes kind of steer him depending on like how big the budget is on it, what they're trying to convey. You know, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's different. I guess it would depend on the director you're dealing with.
Right.
You know, for the most part, I've been really lucky, and I've had a really nice director who's very open to ideas and stuff. He's not super strict, and he's not sitting there just hammering you.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that's nice. So I've been doing that and making some IPs, and I am doing a little ash can for Adam Lawson.
Oh, really?
Yeah, called Jawbone Death, which is a new property of his. Currently, I'm just doing an ash can because Hammer is at the printers.
Oh,
and
cool.
Yeah, the first issue of Hammer is at printers. It just went off yesterday. And we should be getting comps back soon, so I can kind of see what we're going to get, basically.
Nice.
You know, so it's exciting.
All right.
It's definitely exciting. So there's that. All the wheels are in motion. People should be, for the most part, everybody, if not most people, should have received Kill Journal by now.
Yeah, funny you should mention that. I got that maybe a week, 2 weeks ago, and I just did my PO box opening for it last night.
Nice.
So pretty cool. It looks good.
It does.
You know, it's I think it's the first CG leather-bound book that's been released, and it's also got raised texture. So,
right, it's debossed.
Yeah, is it debossed or embossed? Oh yeah,
no, they call it debossing. Yeah.
Okay, so deboss is where you've got like raised areas, ridges, and stuff, and emboss is where you like carve out valleys, right?
I believe so.
Okay, all right.
I'm not an expert on that aspect of things. I just draw stuff and make IPs and fun stuff for people to like, dude. I'm trying to limit myself to the amount of knowledge I can absorb when you have this much work you have to do. So like sometimes you can't know everything. You got to hire other people to do that.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. Yes.
Even if you want to do everything yourself, you don't always possess all the knowledge yet.
Yeah, that's, you know, in a nutshell, that's kind of, you know, there's nothing wrong with wanting to control every aspect of something.
Sure.
But to a certain extent, that's only true. Like Elon Musk, right? Like the guy has vision,
Mm-hmm.
but he couldn't go out and do it all on his own. Like he needs other people to build those rockets, and
yep.
and he needs other people to do that math. Even though he can do that math, he needs other people to do that stuff for him, and that's essential sometimes, you know, to growing and becoming bigger. And there's only so much you can do, right? Mm-hmm. And you know, I realize that too. Like if I have to, if all my focus is on Hammer, right?
All right.
Which I'm more than down with to make it my focus. And at some point I'm going to have other ideas that I want to flex on. I want to do something with. And those other ideas are just as important as Hammer. Now, I may not have the time to develop those series. Like I may have time to do some sketches and stuff, and maybe write some scripts. But for the most part, you know, that, and maybe depending on how it is, I might be able to help ink it and stuff like that. But you know, that being said, if I want to get more work out there, I'm going to have to hire other artists to help me like achieve my goals and dreams. I just can't do it all on my own. And I am getting older, man. I probably only have maybe 20 more years of like drawing comics in me. So that being said, I want to get as much out as I can. And in order to do that, I have to do so because I can't draw everything with the help of other people.
Right.
So that's important to me. So what I've been doing is in between, you know, doing hammers, setting up #2, started inking #2.
Oh, really? Already?
Yeah. Yeah, because I want it done. I want to get it all done because I want to keep things moving, right? Like,
sure, yeah.
Once you know, everybody gets it in their hand, I want them to be able to go, oh, and #2 is coming, and I want it to be done, right? So that everybody can go, hey, you know, let's get Hammer 2. You know, strike when the iron's hot type thing. But sure. What I was saying before is that I'm you know, currently developing some more IPs with other artists, and they'll come out either through my company or through Adam's company.
Oh, okay.
So me and him have partnered together, and you know, essentially are kind of doing our own thing. So it's kind of cool, actually. So I'm really stoked. Like he's really a great guy.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I like Gifted Rebels. I like everything that's coming out of them. I like, you know, all the stuff that's on the horizon with them, which is quite a bit. And you know, it's so much that can just be so awesome with these companies, and I just kind of need to keep chugging away and being that strong artist that I am. And you know, that's what it is. It's about me moving forward as an artist, and doing so in a manner that perpetuates my business. You know,
absolutely.
Right? Not just sit. Here's the thing I'm trying to avoid always. I would rather be drawing a comic book page than sitting on a live stream talking about why the comic book industry sucks.
Oh, okay. All right.
Right. Not that I don't want to promote things. I want to promote stuff, but I don't want to the one thing I'm not going to go and do is sit on a live stream and bash other creators because literally I have so much other stuff to do that,
Oh, sure.
yeah, it would
Just don't
take
have
up,
the time.
it would take up too much time, and it's stupid. Like it doesn't solve anything. I don't really care. Nobody's going to change. Whoever I'm bitching about isn't going to change. And if it's a giant corporation, doubly so.
Yeah.
So I'm, you know, essentially screaming into the void, right?
Right.
So I have gotten to the point that if, you know, all we're gonna do on a live podcast is talk shit on other creators and just like shit on everything in society and nobody's fucking happy, then I'm gonna go draw comics, man. You can go be miserable all by yourself. So I ain't doing it. I ain't fucking doing it. So that being said, that's kind of where I'm at in my life. So I think me being productive is more important than me being a little whiny bitch. So there you go. That's how I think about that.
Yeah, I think you know, the passing of time is kind of what has caused me to have similar thoughts. You know, I you know, if I take a close critical look at myself and my habits, I realize I'm not optimizing every opportunity, and there are areas for improvement. And
Right.
you know, I've said for a long time that my original goal was to make about half my channel content be Phantom Menace related, and have things discussing pop culture. And I still want a chunk of it to be that, but I don't want to spend a whole lot of time, you know, bitching about today's content. Rather, I'd like to celebrate what I enjoyed growing up. Because the stuff that's coming out now, most everything I despise, including stuff coming out of Disney. And it's not so much, well, part of it is Disney as a whole corporation, but the fact they bought some of my favorite companies. And when one company is a monopoly and owns so many of their so much of the competition, you start there's actually less competition, and they're less incentivized to put out their best work.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's here's the thing. Like, if we're talking about, let's just say, The Mandalorian, or currently, I guess it's Boba Fett.
Yeah, Book of Boba Fett.
And I guess it went from the Boba Fett show to the Grogu show to the Mando show. And, you know, does it really matter? Like, even if they gave you exactly what you wanted, are you going to get exactly what you want every time next week too when they redo it?
No, that's an impossibility.
Like, every episode in Rick and Morty isn't like the greatest episode in the whole world, but they're really cool all together. If you really, they have a lot of rewatchability to them. And some of these like shows, like Boba Fett and stuff like that, they have a lot of that too. I kind of feel like we're trying to make some people happy that have an inability to be satisfied, right? So, and if you don't know how to be satisfied with like what you're given, it's just, you're always going to have a problem with it. It was like me bitching about shit when I was a kid. Like, when somebody would say something about some major corporation, I immediately hated it because they were a major corporation. Well, guess what? Like, if you're going to own a comic book company, you're going to have to make a corporation out of it.
Yeah.
Okay, you have to make a business, a real LLC. You're going to have to build it up over time if you want to be successful. And if you just want to make enough money to survive, that's cool too. But if you want enough money to like give your kids and your family when you're dead, you got to work a lot harder at that. So, and at some point you got to become part of that machine, right? And you can choose to do better business practices than other companies. You don't have to own sweatshops. You don't have to own giant pharma warehouses or whatever, right? Whatever that conversation is, right? But inevitably, we're consumers, and it's about money. And
in the end,
and if you're really bitching about money, like it's here's the thing. Like, I hear a lot of people talk about money being the root of all evil. I don't believe that's the case at all, and that saying is repeated like by children and by like people like mockingbirds. Okay, they just repeat it. Money is not the root of all evil. People are the root of all evil. Money will give you stability and pay your bills. Okay, and if you have so much money that you have like generational wealth where you're like, oh, my kids don't ever have to worry about working. That's even more ridiculously so, but it's your right to have it. It doesn't make you stupid. It makes you very stable. And if you're going to be stable, it opens up your mind to do a lot of other things. Like if you're not worried about where your bills are being paid, think about what you could spend your brain power on if you didn't have to worry about your bills being paid, because you were so rich that your bills were always paid, right? So how is that evil other than the fact that you as a human being have more money than you have common sense, and then you make decisions based upon that idea, and you end up buying like $1 billion mansion or whatever, $1 million mansion. And of course you can't afford it because you may not be that wealthy, and you don't understand that you shouldn't be spending like all of your $1 million. I think there's a reasonableness to things, like to a certain extent. And never being happy is an okay thing, but what isn't okay is to, I guess, be upset about something you can't control, right? So if you're rich and your bills are paid and your life is peachy keen and you're still making bad decisions and you're still being an asshole and it's justified like bad behavior, then that's on you, man. Like you're just an asshole at that point. Like you're not a good person.
Yeah.
So it's very simple to me. So money isn't the root of all evil. People are the root of all evil. And they will find a way to fuck it up. Okay.
Yeah,
like don't there's no way around that. Like somebody's always going to bitch about something, even if it's perfect, right? So you can only do your best. Don't worry about anybody else's shit, and keep being the best you that you can be. Like, and make as much money as possible so that you have a little cushion for yourself and are able to make things go without being so stressed out all the time, and then your brain can be opened up to do different stuff. Like there's this idea that once you open your brain up to different stuff and you don't have to worry about money, that you start thinking entirely differently. And my example was Elon Musk, but there's tons of other millionaires that think literally differently because they have nothing to worry about anymore. Like they're not going to, there's no reason to like learn as a basis of, this is my job and I learn it through attrition, where I'm there every day and you learn something new every day because somebody comes in and informs you something and you keep learning. But when you live in a bubble of richness, you may let your mind wander in weird places. And that's how we end up getting stuff like the big giant robot spider in Wild Wild West, right? Like that robot spider was meant to be, let's see, I think the original quote was, "Love of money is the root of all evil, which can mean being too stingy with it, the person being at fault for making it evil." That's right. Nice.
Welcome, some person. Welcome.
So, you know, it is what it is. And it's about growing as a person, and you can't grow as a person if you're too busy focused on shit that has no meaning. So
Right. Yeah, I mean, like you said, money is not the root of all evil. It's like, I don't know if it's necessarily correct to say it's a means to an end, but it helps you live. It gives you the opportunity, almost the freedom to live a more relaxed, less stress-free life.
right.
You know, and as you pointed out, it gives you stability. And when you have stability and you're comfortable and you tend to be more happy because you don't have things burdening you. And
Right.
As a result, you can you tend to have more free time as well because you're changing your focus, your priorities.
Yep.
And you know, people who are comfortable will often engage in things that they've had a curiosity on previously, but never dared to venture into. Like they might explore a new craft or learn to paint, or they'll take some dance lessons, or learn how to cook new recipes, learn a new language.
Well, hopefully that's the case. I mean, there are points at which you can just become obsessed with things and it goes way too far. And then you end up with, you know, Rupert Murdochs and people like that, which are just so much money that you like literally can just do whatever you want, yet you still bark and yell orders at people. I don't know. I think what I've been trying to get at is that there's a balance to all this stuff. And when I had talked about the whole, you know, crapping on other creators and stuff and trying to raise yourself above them, it's almost part of that. It's like, if you can't be a better person, like, then there's no reason to say that stuff. Like there really isn't. Okay. And I told somebody the other day, I agree with Dave Chappelle. Like, Twitter isn't a real fucking place. So if you're having an argument on Twitter, it's not a real fucking place. Like, nobody would say that to your face. And if they did, in most cases, they get punched.
Yeah.
So, you know, right. So it's not, it's all about the art. It's all about storytelling. It's all about escapism. And that's, and I wish that there were two of me so that I could draw twice as much, like, and do the work that I want to do and get out there. And help, of course, Adam and Ari and and all the people that I work with get their stuff done too, because they have dreams and stuff, and I want to help them achieve that.
Absolutely.
Right. Like it's I kind of wish there was two of me, and the only way I can really kind of be like that is if I focus on the art. If I focus on that and don't let anything else get in the way. Like, I call it laser focus, and sometimes I'll just I'll be talking to my buddy Marco, who's my editor and my co-writer and my letterist on Hammer. And, you know, if he knows I'm like in the zone, he'll be like, laser, laser. And we just like yell it at each other over the phone. And just, you know, so that we know, like, you're dialed in, you're not letting anything get in the way of like what your goal is, right? So it kind of sounds more like a motivational speaker than anything, but that's kind of part of it, because comic books are a hard job. And if you sit around all day thinking about, oh, I drew this wrong and I drew this terrible, like I looked at Kill Journal, man. I drew that at a breakneck speed. I drew it in 7 months. It's 4 issues long, plus I did a supplemental story. So I did over 100 pages, plus multiple covers and a character design for them that ended up being becoming a Revenant instead of another Revenant they had designed. Like I kind of had to do that on the fly. So that was kind of like weird to do, because I had never had to just design a character outright and then stick with it for the entirement of a story. Like that, especially one I didn't design myself or create myself. So it was just kind of like, I mean, create myself with the intent, like Hammer, right? Like I have a whole thing about Hammer, but the only thing I knew about Kill Journal were Revenants and all the stuff that he fed me as far as, you know, the other design work that other artists did that he wanted to stick to. So when I ended up redesigning that, I ended up doing all this in 7 months and kind of blamming it out. And I remember a lot of the book, but I don't remember all of it. Like I just don't remember. I know I did the page, but it was so quick that I didn't like register it in my brain. So when I look at it, I kind of have like a weird out of body experience about it. Like when I'm looking at it, like that's not me. Because it was so quick. I didn't have a chance to let it kind of sink in, was what kind of happened. And as part of that, I realized that by not having this attachment to it, like, means that I was able to do it that quickly, but by not having this attachment to it, it means that I just kind of threw whatever I wanted to do on that page and hope it stuck. So when I look at it, I can go through it and be like, you know, I could have spent more time on this, or I could have done this, or I could have done that. I'm trying not to beat myself up about it, because I did it so quickly that what could I have done, right? I was trying to meet expectations and a deadline. Did I draw like better than other people? Probably. Did we get really good reviews? Yes. Does everybody like the leather bound, debossed, gold leafed? They do. People are impressed. So if they're impressed, then I just got to take it as a win and just kind of keep moving, right?
There you go.
And I can't sit there and focus on being that artist that just double thinks everything that I do. So,
yeah.
Right. I'd rather produce 300 pages than one good page in a year.
Sure.
Like, there's definitely going to be a good page out of 300 pages, man.
I should hope so.
Yeah, I would hope so too.
Some person says, hello, hidden people in the chat.
Yeah, how many people are here? Couple?
I don't know.
Hi.
On my end, it's just showing one.
Oh, we have one.
Some person is here. Well, part of it is we're competing with the Jack show, I think. Oh, wait, actually, they don't start until around 11.
Oh.
Yeah, but they're, since I started back late 2019, there have been quite a number of promoters that have cropped up. And of course, there were some before me.
Right.
And there's so many people streaming. You got creators streaming as well, building their platform, building their audience. And so everyone's kind of overlapping.
Right.
But everyone's like kind of sharing many of the same audiences, to the point at which there are some people in chat, and I've been known to do this myself, where some people will actually have several streams going on their computer at once, popping in, taking turns in each of the chats.
Yeah, going back and forth, popping in and out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I usually pop in for a little bit, and I'll say hi to everybody, and then I'll just kind of watch and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And then if it's something that really piques my curiosity, I'll usually keep it and listen to it later when I'm like more focused or when I'm drawing or something. So I'll mark it and put it to the side and end up going back to like listen to some of these streams, because I don't always have the time to listen to, especially if there's multiple ones being done simultaneously.
Right. Yeah.
You can't listen to them all. So it's yeah, I end up coming back at some point and listening to them after I've said hi to everybody. I wish I could stay and listen to everybody's stream, but if I did that, I wouldn't be like the hardest working guy in comics currently. So
yeah, that's a fact. Like, I try and catch live streams, the ones I'm most that seem most appealing to me. But I watch a lot of content in replay.
Right.
But then I spend so much time every now and then absorbing and enjoying other people's content that I'm not making any content on my own channel.
Right.
And I myself I'm trying to get to a point at which I can have my own campaign as well. But that's going to require practice.
Are you going to draw it?
My goal and hope is effectively to do everything except maybe be the primary editor.
Oh.
So all right. So I've got two different ideas. One's follows along the lines of traditional comic strips from the funny pages, along the lines of Garfield, Calvin and Hobbes, Peanuts.
Okay.
And that is something I could do myself, and probably even without an editor. But if I wanted to do my other property, my other IP, which is like traditional superhero from the 80s or 90s style of comics, when they're entertainment value, then I really need to brush up my skills.
No, I understand, man. So it's a struggle, and I feel you. Even I struggle every day. So I get better every time I do it. So, but it's a struggle. It's not easy. penciling isn't as easy as sculpting for me.
Oh.
Yeah, I found out way after the fact that I figured out that the reason I had problems drawing things at certain angles and stuff was because even though I had drawn for years and years and years, and I still struggled after years and years and years and years, right?
Mm-hmm.
I figured out that I was a sculptor. Like, I see things better in three-dimensional form than I do flattening something out on a piece of paper. Like, there's something that happens when you flatten something out. And I just struggled with that for some reason. So it was, once I figured out I was a sculptor, it was totally different for me. Like, I understand three-dimensional form really well. If it's a three-dimensional sculpture, like if it's a physical object.
That's true.
I understand the volume in which that thing fills and the space that that thing fills. And I still struggle with drawing, okay, like every day. But I still do it, and I still peck away at it. And, you know, in order to get better, you have to struggle a bit. So, yeah, man, I'm all for you launching a campaign and seeing what happens.
When you talk about the your sculpting, do you like? I've heard that some sculptors, they could look at a block of clay, for example, and they in their minds imagine, or they kind of see what the possibilities are in that lump of clay, that block, and they're basically just removing material to reveal the beauty within, if you will. Do you look at it that way, where there's already something there, you're just helping to reveal it?
You know, that would probably apply more if I were a marble sculptor, where you're given a block of something and you have to take away, you know, everything and polish it and get it down to that form. Whereas the kind of sculpting I do is additive based. Like, I'm constantly stripping away or adding more clay and using tools to build it up. You know, I found when I was 12 and I had to take a block of plaster and carve everything away, I found it hard to do that. I think if I were to do it now, I'd have a better idea of how to do it. But the way I sculpt is an additive based one. So it's literally me like taking little chunks of clay and just smashing them all together until I get what I want. So and no, I don't really visualize like that. So sometimes I already have an idea of what I want to do.
All right.
But, you know, I can just like kind of roughly base what I want it to be, or do a little like straight on drawing of like a head or something. And if I want the proportions to be a certain size, I can draw that out. And then I can sculpt to my own reference, which is, you know, something that's useful also. But yeah, for the most part, it doesn't work that way for me. It's more additive based. So it's like, when I sculpt, it's like, it's ambidextrous too. It's one of those things where I'm using both my fingers to move everything. Like I'm literally feeling all the shapes and how they're connected to each other. So it makes a lot of sense when you are doing it that way.
Now,
but
yeah, when you're doing these the sculptures that are part of the campaign hammer, It's like adding clay to armatures, right? You have
Correct.
a form that a basic form you're working from, like a skeleton, and then you're adding clay.
It's this.
Yeah, there you go.
There's an armature.
Aren't you also doing effectively doing the equivalent of what they refer to as kit bashing, where you take portions from different random model kits, and then you take bits and pieces here, bits and pieces there, and then add to your clay armatures,
Right.
clay.
Right. The epoxy clay. Yeah. That's exactly what I do. I take a bunch of my kids' toys that they don't play with anymore, or random drone parts or drone motors, and I attach them to the 10 to 12 inch Dragar sculptures that I make with epoxy clay. Yeah, I kit bash them very much in the way that Takeya in Japan would have done, the guy who created Nero Works and one of the greatest Japanese sculptors of all time.
Nice.
So very similar to that style.
I'm going to bring up the page for Hammer, a post-Ragnarok tale. This is good stuff. I'm going to play the trailer here.
Oh, man.
Asgard has fallen. Ragnarok has come, and the mighty hammer Mjolnir is moving ever closer to Midgard. The hammer seeks a new master, this one in the form of a golden Valkyrie with the name of Star. Born of the wasteland, a scrapper now burdened with the mighty hammer, Star must survive insurmountable odds. She must rise to the challenge, take her rightful place among the old gods. Loki, the grinning god and his loyal acolytes, will raise Valhalla to gain the power of Asgard's most powerful artifact. And hell awaits.
Wow. The cheese is heavy on that, man. Man. It is interesting. So it's one of the.
It is interesting.
I was told that I had to make one in order for my campaign to succeed. So I was like, oh, okay. So I made it, and it did okay. So it didn't do bad. You need some big drums playing for this. Nice. Yes, yes, we do.
Maybe for Hammer Book 2.
Yeah. For Hammer Book 2, I want to see if I can get myself a big old Thor helmet, and I'll dress up as Odin or something, or Thor.
Oh, that would be a good idea.
Do my best Chris Helmsworth impression. So,
absolutely.
We'll see what happens. Yeah, this is the campaign. I'm probably closing it out in the next 15 days or so.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's been a little while. So it was up much longer than I ever anticipated it would be. By over a year. So that's a lot.
Do you run into any speed bumps or things that cause the campaign to slow down, or the progress of the campaign to slow down?
Well, other than me spending, that 7+ months doing Kill Journal, and then when I got to Hammer after Kill Journal, I realized I had gotten a little better, and I was like, holy shit. Now I have to redraw a hammer. So so I'd come up with a different idea to begin it. Like I needed it to kind of like up the stakes somehow. And I'd come up with this like 3 or 4 page sequence I wanted to do. And that was, you know, Thor meeting Jormungandr and then him like segmenting it into parts with his hammer with the lightning. The first 3 pages. And I wanted that to start the book instead of how I had started it originally. And so I started adjusting things, and then I realized that I needed like something else here and something else there. So I inevitably redrew all of it. And I maybe kept like 2 of the pages that I had showed on this campaign.
Wow.
Other than the cover that's on here.
Mm-hmm.
Or the covers. And it ended up coming out great. And I'm elated by it. So it just took a little while to do it. And then the holidays came up for printing and stuff like that, and everything usually shuts down around then to like the first of the year. So that's when we jump back on stuff. And then I've been kind of like, so Gifted Rebels had yet to get me a full contract for all this stuff. Like they wanted it, but they were kind of not able to catch up for some reason because they had a lot of other stuff going on, I guess.
Okay.
And they finally were able to get caught up, which kind of like put a hampering on getting things like printed before December. So I ironed all that out, and currently, as of yesterday, the book is at the printer. So it took about a month for me to iron it out, but it's there and it's ready to go. So I'll be getting, as I said, the first like looks at what we're going to be getting and any adjustments that'll have to be made to the printing process if there are any problems.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, it helps to get. It definitely is important to get a proof because you want to look it over with a fine-tooth comb, make sure you didn't miss anything. It's easy for mistakes to get through, and you know I've backed a lot of campaigns, and I've noticed even in some of the finished products, I've caught spelling errors here and there.
Well, you won't be catching any of those in mine, and I'll bet money on that. So I have 2 editors. I not only have an editor that like has a bachelor's in literature, and did that for like a thing that was his gig. But I also have like Adam, and Adam's an editor too. So he's done all that stuff forever. So when I remember when Adam was like, "Oh yeah, you'll have to send it to me for editing," and I was like, "No, I won't." And he was like, "No, like you should have other people's eyes on it." And I was like, "Yeah, I know." I go, "And you're going to see it, and I'm going to give it to you." And I go, "But I guarantee you're not going to come back to me with any spelling errors." And he was like, "Okay." And first of all, I can't spell for shit. I'm going to tell you that straight up. I cannot spell for crap. But Marco, on the other hand, is like the spelling Nazi. So no, I'm serious. Like he's the spelling Nazi when it comes to this stuff. So I trust him, and when he says that it's right, there's a reason for that. Either he looked it up and determined what the proper whatever was. Like we had conversations about the proper spelling of Old Norse, right? Like there's Germanic spellings, and then there's like like Dutch spellings or something like that, which are very similar, right? Or like even the language itself is similar.
Mm-hmm.
But they're different, right? They're different when you're pronouncing Nordic words or Norse words in the Germanic or in the Old Norse. And we chose a specific way of spelling stuff. Like the only thing I didn't change, like we call Midgard Midgarder, right? We call Himdall Himdaller. We call, the thing I didn't change is Ragnarok should be Ragnarocker. which is basically the coolest name for a comic book ever. If you were gonna do that,
Right.
So we tried to be very on top of this stuff, and so when I sent it to Adam, there were no actual letter changes other than a capitalization of like 3 I's.
Oh, really?
That was the only thing we missed. That was it. And that happened because of a weird tearing thing that happens when you're lettering. Like he had to just go in and just fix it in the actual like Illustrator to do it. And it wasn't that big of a deal. But that being said, it was not a misspelling. So
Right.
I was very proud of the fact that my book has no misspellings in it, and it's 54 pages instead of 48. So I gave you guys a bigger, or actually 52 pages instead of 48.
I was about to
I
ask.
gave you a bigger page count. So yeah, it's. And that's the other thing I noticed about some of these CG books. Now I'm not bitching, but you guys should get an editor. Like I've seen some really $100,000 plus campaigns with like people who don't know how to spell.
Yeah, I definitely gotta have an editor.
Well, if you're making $100,000 campaigns and you're still getting typing errors and spelling errors in your comic book, man, that's like amateur hour.
Right.
Like, come on, give me a break here.
Throw my freaking phone. Yeah.
So, as I said, the campaign is up for another, 10, 15 days. Maybe a little longer. I don't know. It's kind of up to Adam at this point.
What is he doing your fulfillment, or are you doing the fulfillment? Or
He is.
Oh, okay.
He is. So, Gifted Rebels will be doing the fulfillment for all of this. So, they bought the rights to it.
Oh, do they?
It's their book, yes. It is their book that I write, draw, and create for them.
Wait. For Hammer is theirs?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Yes. I created Hammer. I did a Kickstarter for it, or Indiegogo, sorry. They approached me to do Kill Journal.
Yeah.
And then right before I finished Kill Journal, they asked me if they could buy Hammer from me, and that I would keep doing it, and that would be my job.
Oh, wow.
So, and said they would fulfill the book. They would cover the cost of printing. They would cover the cost of everything, that I could keep the money from my campaign. So I said, yes, please. And so, yeah, ever since then, all the contracts and stuff have finally just worked their way through. That's what I was talking about earlier. And that essentially makes Hammer Gifted Rebels property. And I'll be completing it till the 10th issue, and we'll have games, like an RPG game made from it, for it.
Oh,
Uh,
right.
yeah. I'm still in complete control of it. 100%. They just have the rights to print it.
Okay.
So it's still my baby. It's still my thingy.
So they're publishing it. Okay.
Yeah. So, and they'll have the rights to, reprint it and take it and turn it into other mediums. Like if they want to, because they're a production company, they can, make a movie.
Okay. All right.
They can make a TV show. They can sell it to somebody else to do a TV show and pay me a bunch of money.
Right.
Yeah, that's how that works. And I figured by doing that, by allowing them to like take over that aspect of things, I could just sit around and be art monkey all day long. Right?
Yeah, it gives you a lot of time to focus on your other projects, the other IPs.
Right.
And,
And on top of it gives you guys a sense of stability, okay? Because that Adam delivers.
Mm-hmm.
You don't ever have to question that. And you know that if you purchase a book from him, it's going to be coming. And I know a good thing when I see it, right? So for me I put the faith in Adam. Like, I can produce the books, dude. Just do that other part. And he has a full team of people who fulfill all this stuff. He has fulfillment centers, and he pays people to do all this stuff.
Oh my gosh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, they're not fulfilling it. It's a company that fulfills it from a warehouse. It's this is how you deal with things when you have, large campaigns to do. And instead of getting bogged down with like doing this stuff yourself, because I've noticed the single creators, man, like if they do pretty good, it takes them a little while to get up all those books out. So
for sure.
All the labels and everything else, right?
Like
so
2 or 3 months, I think.
Yeah, it can become tedious, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why you pay somebody else to do it. And that opens up stuff for me to draw and create and do stuff for everybody. So that's what it comes down to. Doing stuff for everybody.
For sure.
Right? So yeah, you can still pick up Hammer. It has Fragaboom in it. It has my buddy Alex Tuez. It has my friend Erwin Papa in it. It has my buddy Jason Gonzalez in it. And if you haven't picked up his second book, La Mano del Destino 2, which will be going through Zoop, you have like 6 or 7 days to go pick that up over on Zoop. So people should go do that if we have anybody watching.
Zoop.
Zoop.
What is the name of the book?
It's called La Mano del Destino.
Is that like Soul Destination?
No. La Mano del Destino is the hand of destiny.
Oh, okay.
Your mano is your hand.
Ah, all right.
Yeah. So he did the second story in Hammer, and that's why I mentioned him, because his book is actually doing pretty good over on Zoop, and I'm hoping that he gets funded completely.
Cool.
Yeah.
So is Zoop similar to Indiegogo and Kickstarter?
It is, but they're like a one-stop shop for fulfillment.
Really?
So, like, you can, if they approve you, they'll print your book and send it out to your backers. Right? Which is a fantastic thing, by the way. Like, that's totally a cool thing. And it doesn't mean that you're not still a small single like creator that like is doing stuff your way. You just would rather be busy drawing than taking up a bunch of time fulfilling stuff that somebody else can do.
Yep.
Right? So I see there's a lot of people who talk negatively about like stuff like that. And just need to find a good person to do it for you, and you can pay them, especially if you make hundreds of thousands of dollars on your campaign.
Yep.
And yeah, go ahead and do that and free yourself up and do some more artwork and be awesome. Yeah. It's an older piece.
Do you know, happen to know how they plan on fulfilling Hammer? Like, are they actually going to find a way to find boxes that'll fit both the Dragers as well as the books, as well as the Loki bus? Or it's going to be bus and the Drager's going to be mailed separate from the book?
Everything's going to be probably separate from the book, okay? Because the Dragars and the Loki heads come from me. The books are being essentially fulfilled by the company. And because I still, like, literally there's 20 of you that bought Loki heads and Dragars. And I'll be covering all that stuff. So I want to get it out when I get books in my hand and I can start like kind of sending everything out at once. And we'll just go and do it from there.
All righty. Let's see here. Admiring all the cool art as usual.
Thanks, man. Yeah, that'll be in the second issue, that page. Yeah, that too. All that whole sequence ends up in the second issue, unfortunately.
Was it because you took a different direction in terms of the storytelling?
No, I just think I kind of jumped ahead is what happened. So I needed to backtrack a bit when I redrew it. And these are still pertinent pages when it comes to issue 2, because essentially she's just beat everybody, beat all those people at the end, and is just kind of trying to figure out everything. So, and her car broke down, and she just had a really rough like couple of days when we see her there, and I needed some foreshadowing stuff that would happen that I couldn't set up just in those couple pages. So it was a storytelling thing, and I had to change it based upon that.
Right on.
So yeah, it's and for all those people who don't want to buy it, you can go to the actual like updates of my Indiegogo, and you can just download it for free. So you can get a free PDF of Hammer, and only for a little while longer. Like, as I said, I'm going to take this campaign down at some point here and start the fulfilling process. So you won't be able to get the PDF for too long.
Holy moly. Got to get in on that. And it's on the updates page. It's the entire book in digital form?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Do you read your updates, buddy?
Yeah.
I found that a lot of people don't read their updates, and I end up getting a lot of people asking me the same question because they refuse to answer or read any of their updates.
I read some of them, but I get so many updates that I have trouble keeping up.
I literally updated that the book was going to be running a little bit late. It was one of the last updates I did, and that I would keep everybody updated, but until then read the PDF. And the PDF's been there for 3 months, by the way. So anybody who hasn't read anything in 3 months would know that it's there, right? I literally a week later get somebody asking, dude, are you going to do an update for the book? I just did. Do you read your fucking updates? How frustrated do I have to get? And of course, I want you all to be special and feel special. But at some point, I'm going to get frustrated at the idea that you can't even read your emails.
Oh, man.
So, yeah. Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy. Please. Read your updates, Wyman.
Oh, damn. Oh, man. Oh, man. Yeah. So, cool Hammer. This is totally unrelated, but I was looking at the hammer again.
Yeah.
And you know what it sort of reminds me of? Are you familiar with excuse me? When they manufacture these, smallish hammers that are actually emergency escape tools. So it's got like a seatbelt cutter. It's for your car, obviously.
Right.
You've got something that breaks the glass and shatters it.
Right.
So, if your car is sinking in water or something like that.
Right.
You have to get the hell out. It shatters the glass, and then a part of it allows you to cut the seatbelt if it's seized or whatever and won't unlock. And
does it remind you of that?
Kinda. So I was thinking it might be an interesting merch opportunity, down the road after you've released maybe a few issues, to release something like that, but it'll be a practical item. It won't be too huge. It won't be full size for. Even if it were full size, it would be pretty.
No.
You wouldn't want something like that for a car, I don't think.
Yeah, you're not allowed to carry a war hammer in your car, by the way.
Come on.
I mean, you can.
We'll make it a trend.
I had an uncle that got arrested because he had a broom handle in the back of his truck that was wrapped in black electrical tape. So they arrested him because back in the 80s, that was considered like a club, like a weapon, a legal weapon.
Really? A broom handle?
It was so stupid. It was the stupidest thing I'd ever heard in my whole life. And they literally arrested him over this.
What?
And this was in the 80s. I could imagine, dude, if you popped up with a war hammer. And this thing's, the actual hammer, I guess, would probably be about maybe 16 inches long with that handle on it.
Uh-huh.
And the head of it, isn't very big, but it is big enough to swing really fucking hard and crush somebody's skull with it. Like it would definitely do it.
I can imagine.
And I thought about making real ones. I actually thought about casting a bunch of like real metal Warhammers and wrapping them in leather and putting having a serious something. But then I thought about all you dumb fuckers who would do something stupid with it. So, you know what I'm saying? Like I shouldn't encourage you people. So,
hey man, I'm not gonna go around carrying it everywhere I go, and
just in your car, just in case,
in case of an emergency,
So that little utility tool that you're talking about that breaks into shit, it's big enough to carry in your purse, right? So literally, I could make something like a little keychain that could work like that, and that would be fine. But yeah, I don't think it's practical to carry a Warhammer with you. The reason it's actually shaped the way it is and looks the way it does is because I actually looked into real Viking Warhammers. And I looked at a bunch of ones that had been designed like what people thought Warhammers looked like. And then I looked at what real artifact Warhammers looked like. And I kind of combined the two. It's the head of it is more like an old Nordic Warhammer, but the back end of it isn't. The back end should have a spike on it, like a pike. And I just made it ornate. I made it kind of pretty. And I put the little spike on the end of it. So if you ever wanted to sit it down, it would kind of sit at a funny angle, kind of like on its edge.
Right.
But that was my only thought of it. A spike that little on the top of it, what are you going to do? Poke at somebody? So, a superhero wouldn't do that. So there's no practical purpose for it. So I just wanted to make it look as much like a real Warhammer as possible. And I didn't want to end up in the cliche of oh, that's just Thor's hammer.
Right, exactly.
Right. And it can become just Thor's hammer later on in the series, the Jason Gonzalez stuff that's part of the series that shows her all cosmic, the 70s version of her that's all super cosmic. She can have that giant Warhammer like Thor does, because we're leaning into that idea of it, and it makes more sense there. But because I'm dealing with kind of more realistic stuff, I tried to make it as real as I could within the confines of telling a story like this. So that's why it looks the way it does.
And the curvature of the handle, does that have to do with the balance?
Oh, I don't know. I like the shape of whale penises, and it reminds me of that.
Okay.
So it actually it's very walrus penis-like also. So if what you need to do is after we get off this, all of you, whoever listens to this, if anybody ever does, you need to get offline. You need to type into the Google box killer whale penises and prepare to be impressed. So they're beautiful, and trust me, everybody should enjoy a whale penis. They're very nice. I'd watch whale porn. They're really
Holy cow.
They're beautiful. They're beautiful creatures.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So and then come back to what my hammer looks like and tell me if it looks anything like.
If I'm not mistaken, I think duck penises are kind of like that too, but of course nowhere near the girth. But holy cow.
Yeah, that was brutal.
Wow.
So,
Holy
I'm
moly.
sure if Michael Bancroft heard this right now, he would say this was super embarrassing, but it's not because I'm not embarrassed. So it's not embarrassing at all, buddy. I don't get embarrassed talking about whale penises or anything else. I own my penis.
What? One of the, you know.
That's me being silly with Bancroft if he ever hears this. So I'm not calling you out, buddy, or anything. I like you guys. So
One of the images from the search for killer whale penis was someone bought a stuffed whale penis.
oh yeah,
or something or other. Yeah, this is probably clickbait. Oh,
did you really go look up a killer whale penis?
I did.
You did, isn't it beautiful? Have you ever seen? It has a great shape to it.
It's
Like,
impressive. So
hey,
someone bought a stuffed whale penis for $6,000 because why not?
you know, that's what I said about like having so much money that you start thinking differently. Right? When you have so much random, like, you know what? I want a whale penis. I'm gonna go buy a whale penis. Like, it's when you just start thinking differently. So it's not bad because that shit's funny. I mean, tell me that thing wasn't beautiful. You can laugh, but you know full well that was the most beautiful penis you've ever seen.
Oh my gosh! So
and I'm not into penis, you know, but that's a pretty good looking dick. My son came home from school. He's 12, and he has to do PE, and they have to go into the shower. And so on and so forth. Like it's that time in his life.
Yep.
So and he goes, we had to go into the shower today, and I go, yeah. He goes, yeah, and he goes, it's kind of weird. I go, yeah, it's weird. It's weird for everybody. I go, but you need to like have a good sense of humor about it. I go, you know, as opposed to like pointing at somebody or saying whatever, just say, hey man, sweet penis, dude. Like,
I would love to see the reaction from someone.
He thought that was hilarious. So he has my sense of humor, and he goes, they would laugh so hard if I said that. And I was like, I know. I go, that's what's so funny about it. I go, if you just like not take it too seriously, it'll be easier. Okay? It's that simple.
I look forward to when he reports back that he actually did say that aloud.
Oh, it'll be awesome, man. I'll get the call from the school. Your son commented on another boy's penis today. He said that you said to tell him sweet penis dude. And I'll be like, yeah. Haven't you ever seen that show Drawn Together?
Damn.
Yeah, it's in that show. Like,
oh, is that where it comes from?
Yeah, it's from Drawn Together, where one of them like sees this other one's penis and he goes, sweet penis, dude. And it just made me laugh. So you know, people take a lot of stuff too seriously, right? So, and those are the kind of things in your life that you just need to not worry about that. If you're really that stressed out about showing your little peanut to some other kid because you have to take showers in junior high, that's the least of your worries, man. And you should probably just try to have a good sense of humor about it. So.
Yep. That is pretty damn funny, though.
I do my best, man. Don't I owe you, like, didn't you buy like 2 of those Lokis? Didn't you win one and then you bought one?
I think I bought 2 or 3 and then I won one.
Are you kidding?
And,
Many?
and I think I got 2 or 3 draggers. Maybe it was only 2.
No, you have 1 Dragar. So I remember. But I know you have multiple Loki heads. Like you have like 3 of them or something. All individuals bought the Dragars. Like it was just a single person every time.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, and I can tell you like all of them. But you know, it's yeah, I think you only got 1, but I know you got multiple Loki heads.
Okay. Yeah, I remember I got the Drager with the what looks like a satellite on his back.
Yes, you got the biggest one, the like Russian satellite that's on his back.
Yeah, and let's see.
Yeah.
1 head of Loki, 2 heads of Loki. Then I won. Oh, I won either 1 or 2 busts of Loki on Shay's stream.
Right.
And then I might have won a print or a painting.
You probably won a little painting or something. So too.
So.
All
right. So maybe it was 1 Drager. I thought I got 2, but I guess I'm wrong.
I thought you got 2, or you at least won 1. Anyways, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna end up sending you like the 2 that you bought unpainted, and then I was gonna send you a painted version that I did.
Oh, neat. That sounds like
so. Yeah,
cool.
Yeah. So you'll have my first prototype.
The one that's pictured?
No, that's actually clay. That's pictured.
Oh, right,
so
right.
This was the first one I painted and put together.
Oh,
after
cool.
I casted it and everything. So, so yeah, I only did 1 like this. So you get the only painted version of this.
Wow, cool.
So yeah, at least you won't have a bunch of parts that, you have to put together and paint and everything else. So you'll at least have 1 you can take, or 2 with the Dragar out of the box and just shove them up on the shelf and be happy. So exactly.
Sweet.
Nice.
So when you painted them, what did you use? Did you use like model paints, or did you use like acrylics? Or
I primered it and used acrylics on it, and then I sealed it when I was done.
What do you use for a sealer? Do you use like a spray, or do you use like do you paint it on?
I use a spray. I'll either use like a matte workable fixative, or I'll use a gloss workable fixative. That's it.
Huh. All right, cool.
Workable meaning that I can keep painting over the top of it and do it again if I have to.
Oh, all right. That's good to know.
That's what that means.
Nice. Yeah. This last one, the Snowblood Drager, Super Snowblood, is bitching too. It was unfortunately out of my budget. Otherwise, I would pick it up.
It's the one that didn't sell, so it's okay. I had hoped that a couple people would have bought it, so it would have justified like making the mold of something like that and doing it. But I'm kind of glad people didn't, so I don't have to. So it's one of those things where, in hindsight, it was a good. I thought it was a great idea to begin with, and then in hindsight, I was like, "Well, I'm super glad I didn't end up having to mold that thing."
Well, I don't know if it's spoiler territory, but do you think? I wonder if it's something that you might add to the next campaign.
I don't know. No, I might streamline things a bit. The next campaign, I'm going to offer issue 1 and 2
Cool.
together
Cool.
with an extra 10-page story in there on top of, so it'll be 2 52-page books with another 10 pages. So that's 114 pages. And it'll be hardcover, and it'll be a little bit oversized like the Guild Journal. And from that point on, from me printing 1 and 2 together like that in little hardcover, every 2 issues after that, so 3 and 4, will be printed together as a hardcover also. And I think the price we're going to sell them at is like $25.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so you get 2 issues, like 114 pages for like $25.
Oh, damn. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, so it'll be awesome. I may do like some prints. I'm going to physically do a bunch of art, so it's not all going to be digital this time.
Oh, cool.
So you'll have the opportunity to buy original art.
Wow.
And I may do some sculptures, but I may ZBrush sculpt them and then 3D print them and fulfill that way.
Ooh, no, that's pretty cool.
So I've done some 4-inch like Dragars that are super packed with detail.
Oh, really?
And yeah, little 4-inch with like a little tiny platform and yeah, dude, they look cool. I can't believe you haven't seen them.
Do you own your own 3D
printer? Yeah, I have a couple.
Oh, damn. All right. Nice.
So, yeah. I have a filament printer and I have a resin printer.
So do you have a preference between the two, or do they both excel in different areas?
They both excel in different areas. So the filament printer is good for like large stuff if you're going to do something really big.
Like the pieces.
Yeah, the resin printer is for super high detailed miniatures and small sculptures, but it could easily, print something out like a Dragar if I did it in pieces, like 10-inch Dragar.
Okay.
If I design one and I want to be 10 inches tall, I would have to break it down into a couple different pieces and then print it on my 3D resin printer and then put it together after that.
Oh man.
which is easy and doable because the resin we use is bonded with black light, or ultraviolet light. And so literally if you make everything in parts and then paint a little bit on your parts and stick them together and then just take a UV light and put it on it, it cures them together. And you then have a full sculpture. The 4-inch ones that I've designed could be printed all in one piece though. So I've done 2 or 3 of those. And those may be something you can purchase. And there might be a line of them. Like I may do several versions of them because there'll be like a 4-inch version, and then when the game comes out, we'll make the little 63 millimeter versions, which are the little tiny ones.
Right.
Whatever they are, the 16 millimeters. And they're just tiny. But they can use my ZBrush sculptures to do that. So can make miniatures. You blocked somebody.
It was a bot.
Oh.
YouTube has, well, I personally think it's YouTube themselves, but there's a huge spike in spam bots. Some of them are, porn bots.
Oh.
And they just throw garbage in the chat, and then you basically have to block them and stuff. So for a short time, You could, as a workaround, change your chat so that it was set to like it's called like subscriber mode.
Uh-huh.
So you first had to subscribe to the channel, and then you can set up like a timer of like a minute. And then once you've been a subscriber and you've been watching the stream for a period of a minute or longer, then you could post a message in chat. But whoever created these bots found a way around it, and now getting past that. But they're like popping up all over everyone's streams that I've seen.
So they're militant porn bots?
I guess. And what's funny about them is so many of them kind of look like Russian names, while others look pretty close to, what you'd expect a normal person's name to be.
Right.
And my theory, or maybe my conspiracy theory, is that YouTube is actually spamming particularly small channels and anything non-Hollywood related, and unleashing them.
Isn't that 99% of YouTube?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Now that's not likely that's the way that's happening, because that would be like bogging down your own site just to control 99% of everything when you could just block it. Yeah, it's not YouTube, it's assholes. I totally get it though. It becomes super frustrating. And yeah, it wouldn't it's like creating a virus that only has the effective death rate of 0.2%.
Well, the reason I was thinking that is because of the strange stuff YouTube does. Like they from time to time they unsub people from channels that they've been previously subbed to without their knowledge. They remove likes. You probably heard about the fiasco about how they disabled the dislike count. So now you don't know how many dislikes there are versus likes.
Right.
And,
right.
They changed their rules so that they can post ads on any YouTube channel, even non-partnered sites. It used to only be for partnered sites, so they'd be the creator and YouTube would be getting a cut for every ad played during their video or stream. But now you could have, for example, I don't know if I haven't really looked into rewatching much of my content, so I don't know if they're even trying to make money off of me by running ads on my stuff. But if I'm not monetized, as an example, they might still run ads if people are trying to rewatch some of my content,
right?
Or watch live content,
right? Don't you expect that though? Like, as being part of YouTube, a free platform?
Kinda, but then if becoming monetized is such a big component of creators making content on it,
right?
I think there's a certain point at which YouTube would want to draw the line and not, and might want to encourage people to create content instead of discourage them, because that's where they get more eyeballs from small creators creating compelling content. that either YouTube doesn't create themselves or that Hollywood doesn't create that appeals to people, new viewers and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's some light manipulation of things. You know, if they change their stuff saying essentially they can put ads on anything they want, that's fine. It's their platform. It's free.
Yeah,
as far as
of course, it's
pushing out, I've seen like instances where they try to like mess with other creators and things like that, but it's for the most part, all the stuff I've seen randomly or been like part of, like where like I was on Fraga's stream and they took Fraga's stream down.
Oh yeah, yeah.
For ass titty, right?
Yep.
And but we know why. Like they took him down. It wasn't because he's a bad person or his content or anything. Like he literally, they showed something that they thought that the algorithm picked up as a nude body, and it shut down his stream. But this was also his third violation within a month. Okay, so that's the other thing too. Like if you have a violation and they violate you, that'll go away unless you get a warning, right?
Yeah, my channel has one warning, but it's evergreen, I guess.
Right. So it's you have a single warning, and any time that you can strike or something like that, you usually have like 30 or 45 days to be on your best behavior, and then usually that stuff gets taken down. So what I'm assuming happened with the whole Fragaboom thing was you know, he'd been going hard for like a month or two. He had just gotten all those surgeries and stuff like that. He'd been drinking, and it was a lot of free for all. And he was doing as much as he could on his show to keep it going. And he had obviously been warned and stricken 2 times previously for him to have his channel taken away in the last 45 days, right? Because it's 3 strikes and you're out. That's what had to have happened in order for that to happen. So it's not that hard, okay, to be on your best behavior, especially if you don't want to lose all your content and everything else. You know, it is just what it is. It's like going out in public and sitting on a corner and screaming with a megaphone. Some bizarre shit. Eventually somebody's going to say something to you, and you're either going to move on or something's going to happen, you know? So I would say there's more constructive ways of dealing with things. Right. Reasonable heads shall prevail. That's right. So yeah, no more Wyman. Stop it.
I know. I mean,
what are you doing? Stop it.
Well, that warning of all things came from my doing a pseudo watch along. I was listening to the audio through my earbuds plugged in my speaker, and I was watching a Steve Jobs biography.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Keep going, Lyman.
Yeah, so I was watching like a Steve Jobs biography, and I wasn't my main StreamYard screen was mostly just a still image. But every once in a while, I would play like 15 to 30 seconds of video to show roughly where I was. As in, you know, just to keep it interesting, and as opposed to simply saying, all right, I'm at this timestamp at, you know, at this scene or whatever.
Right.
So every now and then I bring up like 15 to 30 seconds. and then it would go back to being a still image, which was like a thumbnail. And then by the time, the YouTube algorithm and bots got to it, they gave me a claim of like misleading or let's see, something about misleading information or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but you know what? Hold on, I have a tab open. I could just go look at it. But it was insane. So, active community guidelines strikes warning. Your content. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on.
Your content about
policy, spam, deceptive practices, and scams.
okay.
Deceptive practices and scams. Like, what the hell?
Which part was deceptive?
I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Steve Jobs passing or something? I don't know. I didn't really commentate on, his passing. Maybe they were, I don't know, maybe it was the site I was watching it from. And then it
Were
says,
you streaming something from another site?
yeah. Well, no, when the times that I had it clipped, I was briefly showing it on screen for like 15, 30-second moments. Yeah. So it could be they were looking at that. I'm not sure.
Was this his funeral or something?
No. It was like, if I remember, it was covering, when he took over the Apple project and worked on the Macintosh, and then he had the keynote speech, and then it kind of fast forwarded to the iPhone and the iMac.
And were these part of the movie or part of like were they was it from a movie or was it actually Steve Jobs?
It was from a movie where they had an actor portray him.
Okay. So whoever owns that movie doesn't want you showing that movie, right?
I guess so. I'm not sure. I never got a clear explanation, and they would never explain it to me. As soon as I discovered it, I filed an appeal, and then like 1 or 2 seconds after I hit submit appeal, it automatically got rejected. My appeal got rejected immediately.
Oh,
and
wow.
That told me that they didn't have a live human being review it. They didn't take the time to read my appeal explanation. So
right.
I tried to reach out to YouTube support via Twitter a handful of times, and initially it sounded like they were interested in learning more and researching it, but then it fell off to the wayside.
Okay.
So,
now I understand.
Let's see. So they're saying if it happens again, your channel will get a community guidelines strike, and you won't be able to do things like upload, post, or live stream for a week.
Fun.
So yeah, that's why I'm working to back up my content and try and back up my stuff to other platforms.
No, I understand, man.
You know what's weird? What's weird is even if you have a backup YouTube channel, they limit you to uploading, I think, 10 to 15 videos at a time. You can't do a batch of anything larger, which is irritating.
Like a big mass dump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be easier for creators, but I think I see why they do it. I think it's to prevent mass dumps, potentially.
Fraudulent shit. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, as much of a pain as it is to try and maintain a second channel on YouTube, I can see why they might do things the way they do.
Right. I think you got it, man. You figured it out.
So check it out. The perks. You got the line art edition, which is $20.
Right.
30 claimed. Nice. Exclusive signed edition for $25.
Right.
85 claimed. The signed bundle for $40. 53 claimed.
Yep.
Bring me the head of Loki. So what is that? 14, 10, 20, 21, no, 11?
What are you doing? That's a 19.
I'm trying to do the math
Okay.
on the fly. Yeah, so 11 more to go before you run out.
Right.
Bring me the head of Loki. I encourage everyone to back this tier. Everyone's got to get one.
I think it's the most bang for your buck band. So, you get the books, you get the Loki. I just think it's a good one. So, 23 to the art edition. That's pretty good.
And what was the art edition again?
Getting a piece of art with the books.
Nice. And then you've got the Benitez original cover. Excuse me, original cover art.
Yeah, his stuff sells for ridiculous amounts of money.
Yeah, for good reason. He does good work.
He's the greatest.
Awesome stuff. Crager edition signed.
Yep.
Yeah, I have to look at my thing again. I thought I eventually, toward the end of funding, decided to plunk some more and get one more. But I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. Crager edition signed to all. Very sweet. If y'all haven't backed it yet, consider backing it now. Oh, you know what? Let's play the trailer again.
You're so funny.
Asgard has fallen. Ragnarok has come, and the mighty hammer Mjolnir is moving ever closer to the throne. The hammer seeks a new master. This one in the form of a golden Valkyrie by the name of Star. Born of the wasteland, this rapper now burdened with the mighty hammer, Star must survive insurmountable odds. She must rise to the challenge, take her rightful place among the old gods. Loki, the gritting god and his loyal acolytes, will raise Valhalla to gain the power of Asgard's most powerful artifact. And hell awaits.
There you go, man.
Right on.
Well, I appreciate it. That is you, above all people, helped this campaign become kind of what it is, man. So you not only helped back it and fund it, but we did 2 or 3 live streams that got quite a bit of backers. So I couldn't have done this without you and without Shay and you should go read that PDF, man. And when you get to the end, make sure to read the last page.
Oh, okay. Yeah, definitely. And then after that, Marvel at whale and killer whale and walrus penises.
Yes. Yeah, get down on them walrus, or not walrus, on killer whale penis.
Oh, you
Big
mean
fan.
walrus ones aren't as impressive?
They might not be as impressive. I mean, their bacula, that bone that's in their penis, that bacula is, this long. So it's pretty gnarly, man. So it is what it is. But enjoy it. Like, enjoy the penis.
If you guys haven't backed this campaign yet, please back it today, because you only have a few days left before it's closed down for good. For
That's
Hammer
right.
number 1.
Yeah.
If you already backed it, consider backing again. Maybe you want another Loki head. Don't forget, we've got birthday parties coming up. We've got Christmas coming. And,
Christmas in February.
How about some Easter?
Valentine's Day, buddy. Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day Lokis, Easter Lokis, St. Patrick's Day Lokis. Heck yeah!
There we go. We got your back.
Gotta get them all. You're covered, man. If you've you're gonna have people, family, friends who are gonna want a hammer.
Oh no, nobody wants that.
Sure we do.
As my family, they're just like, you're gonna give me a free copy, right? Yeah.
No, not your family. I'm talking about everyone else's family.
Oh yeah, everybody else's family. You need to buy that stuff. So my family, they're busy asking for free copies.
And then back it once, back it twice, back it 3 times a lady. If you don't have the means to do so at this time, please consider sharing this campaign all over your social medias. Greatly appreciate it. Greatly appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to take a moment and give you the floor. Would you share with the world how you can be found on social media?
I think the easiest way to find me is just to go to Instagram and look up Crager Jason, and easy enough to find me there. If you want to find me on Twitter, it's at Vonderabo or J Crager. And if you want to find me on Facebook, it's Alistair Crowley Crager Jewett. Whatever. So it's Jason Alistair Crowley Crager is my Facebook one. So you can find me there. I'm the only one there is.
All right.
Yeah.
One of a kind.
One of a kind. Yeah. I suppose.
I suppose.
To a certain extent.
To a certain extent. From a certain point of view.
I mean, my son's kind of a clone of me, so it's very possible that I'm not one of a kind. So he's a little clone-like.
So there is still a hope of you having a clone to do half the art.
If he, I guess, decided that he wanted to be an artist and wanted to do that, then yeah, he could be my assistant. I would teach him all that stuff. Sure. So it's hard work. He wouldn't like it by the time I was done with him. Yeah, it's not fun. So comic books are hard work.
Out of curiosity, have you seen in him like a creative side where he might be the type who'd be interested in like sculpture or painting or drawing?
Oh yeah. He's interested in all that stuff. He likes making up stories. He wants to design games, but he's much more technically capable. So like he loves computers. He loves taking apart his computer. He loves, doing stuff like that. So I'm either going to assume he's going to be a coder of some sort or, at some point or something like that.
Nice.
If that's what he wants to do. He has a good eye for art and he likes coming up with ideas and stuff. So, I can see him doing art stuff, but he knows it's also like the highest and lowest paying job in the world.
Right. All right.
So that's the other thing is I told him it'd be easier if you just worked for 30 years and then retired, like from the same job you started at with a pension.
Oh, yeah, it's hard to find jobs like that these days, though.
Right. So, but I try to instill that in him. Like, I'm still trying to. You gotta do that. Not everybody gets to live their dreams, right? Like, we all have to work towards it. So,
sure, absolutely.
And sometimes it's not like your entire visualization of that dream. It's like dream light, So. It's like, yay, I get to draw comics. Yay, I don't make enough money. Yay.
The cold truth.
Yeah. Well, highest and payest flowing job in the world, man. So being an artist, they say it can be a privilege sometimes, but in some cases you better love it because it's going to hold you over those coals, man. So do the work.
Yep. Good advice.
That's right.
You can find me as usual at the usual haunts, Twitter at WyzGyz Tweets, YouTube at WyzGyz Entertainment, where WyzGyz is one word, WyzGyz, and on Twitch, WyzGyz Entertainment, all one word. Want to thank everyone in chat for joining us today. You guys are awesome. Thanks to everyone who watches this on replay. Please like, comment, subscribe, mark the bell for notifications, indicate all notifications so hopefully you don't miss a single video or stream. And I wanted to give special thanks to our very special guest, Jason Crager. Thanks once again. And
thank you.
We shall see you on the next stream. Bye.
Final guest that is the only person below White Holiday in the Comicsgate phone book. It's my favorite failed clone of Peter Sameti. The YouTube channel. How you doing, Conrad? Welcome to the show.